Okay, hello everybody. I hope you can hear me all right. I am just gonna stop sharing my screen. Hello everybody, welcome to another Pencil live stream. This week we are announcing advanced exports, and I will be being joined very soon, hopefully, by my colleague Doug Salomonsson, who is going to talk us through the latest product announcement. I'm just going to check my stream quality and make sure that everything is up and running. And then I'm going to check in with Doug because he is going to be joining me soon. Okay, and we are live and everything is working. So this week, while we wait for Doug to join us, I will just give you a few more updates about other stuff that we've got going on. So first of all, today we are announcing advanced exports. As I've mentioned, Doug is going to be jumping on and discussing it with us. Tomorrow, we have a webinar going live where I'm going to be joined by my colleagues Matt and Tim, and we're going to be talking all about how to roll out Gen AI across enterprise organizations. So this is going to be a really in-depth educational piece of live content where we talk through everything from identifying use cases and really pushing enablement across your organization. So it's going to be one for anybody who is in a large organization, an enterprise organization, where you've got lots of different people, lots of different silos of activity who are all interested in Gen AI use cases. We're going to be walking through all of the different ways that you can really maximize the ROI from your Gen AI content. So that's another really important one. And then later on through the month, we've got a few other live streams booked. So I'm going to have Ryan Paulson, who is a Chief Creative Officer, joining me to talk all about Gen AI and creativity and the way that creativity is evolving over time. That's going to be another really interesting and exciting one. And then we've got lots of other updates coming, all about agents, which are really going to be kind of turbocharging productivity. And then finally, we've got some more technical announcements coming from the product team, all about the ways that models that are in the platform can be, let me find the exact wording for you before I get too deeply into this. Parameterization. Let me find it. Parametric model configuration. So it's going to make Pencil even more powerful and consistent. So there's going to be better model parity, faster innovation, and it enables you to future-proof your AI, lays the groundwork for rapid adoption of the latest AI capabilities as soon as they are available. So that's another one coming from the product team. Extremely exciting. And here is Doug. So I am going to stop running through the diary and we can now focus a little bit more on exports. So Doug Salomonsson is the product lead who has been working on advanced exports. Doug, thanks for joining me. I know it's very early where you are over in the US. How are you doing?
I'm doing very, very good. I'm really sorry that I'm late.
Don't worry about it.
I actually was on a different meeting link and I was just about to ping you and say, hey, am
Okay.
I in the right place? And then I realized, oh, I'm in the wrong place.
Well, apologies if that's if I've sent you a wrong link at any point. But look, thanks so much for jumping on. And yeah, don't worry about. I'm used to it. Last week we had Sumuk, our CTO, had to run and get the door during the stream, so I'm getting quite good at just talking at the camera. So yeah, we're all good. So look, everybody, just before we get into this, if you've got any questions for Doug about advanced exports, maybe if you're a power user and you've got any specific questions, please do feel free to drop them on the LinkedIn post, and we will leave some time for Q&A if there are any questions. I appreciate this is probably going to be a slightly niche topic for many audiences, primarily going to be useful for people who are in the platform and using it already. But listen, Doug, why don't you get us started here and kick us off with just a brief kind of intro to advanced exports, what it is that we've built and that we're launching today.
Sure. I think there's the one of the main reasons for why exports is so important at Pencil is you kind of have this two-sided um, kind of ideas of how you want the product to work. One is you want to create your creative, whether it's text, video, images, whatever you want, right? You create all this awesome stuff within Pencil, but then you actually want to get it out of Pencil and put it to work. And that's really where exports come in. And I think there's really an importance of one, it should be very easy to get access to the awesome content that you're creating on Pencil. And two is you want it to be very specific to what you're trying to use it for. So one of the things that I believe this iteration of advanced exports will do for users is kind of our first step towards allowing for print exports. So being able to actually control DPI and the dimensions of the export that you're taking out. And we have a lot of exciting releases coming that are kind of building on top of this, where we give users way more control over everything from the file type that you're trying to export, the type of export that you're doing, as well as bitrate, frame rate, and compression. All that good stuff is coming very, very soon. So I'm really excited of just giving our users way more control over the assets that they're pulling out of Pencil so they can go and use them wherever they need to.
Excellent. Yeah, I mean, I think it's almost kind of counterintuitive thinking about print when we're talking about generative AI content, right? Like, I think we all sort of assume that what we're talking about is social media. We've all seen all the, viral Gen AI content that people are making in Pencil and elsewhere. You kind of forget that actually a large part of the advertising industry is still very heavily print. Like people do still, buy magazines. Crazy as it sounds in 2025, actually there is a very sort of at the premium end of the advertising market, print is incredibly important still, for example. So yeah, I think this is a really important one, and I know that a lot of our customers have been asking about it. So like with this particular release then, what pain points specifically are we aiming to solve?
With this particular release that went out today, I would almost say it's more cosmetic than anything. The main things that are changing is we're making it a little bit easier and faster to actually export from Pencil. So before we wanted you to go through this kind of export flow with very particular steps along the way where you could preview the creative and you kind of have to go through very specific screens in order to get to the final step of export. We're not taking that away from users. You will still have the ability to do a very detailed preview and approval process prior to actually exporting if that is still needed within your workflow. But we will want it also to give the opportunity for users to actually export immediately from the page that they're in. So the main thing that we're changing is we're given the opportunity to export from the page that you're on, whether it's within our editors or on your work page, on the preview page, you name it, wherever you have access to the export button, you will be able to pop open the export module where you then can control the type of export that you're going to. That is one change that is coming. The second one is that we are now allowing for print. There is a little bit of a caveat. The DPI, which is I guess, not to try to get too technical, but kind of this dot per inch, which essentially really refers to how crisp the print will be able to look on a given size that you're taking out of Pencil, will be at 300, which typically is your standard, really high quality print format. Will be at about an 8x11 piece of paper. I think you call it like an A4 piece of paper. That is what we will support today at the highest DPI of 300. but we are very rapidly working towards actually increasing that kind of canvas size so you can get out very large canvases that you can use for whatever type of billboards or larger type of print material that you need very soon. So that will come later this year, which should kind of unlock all the potential when it comes to print.
Excellent. Yeah. So DPI is kind of in most digital contexts is kind of a meaningless number. It's extremely relevant for print only, right? Like it's not a metric that you would ever take much notice of on digital formats because obviously we're constantly reformatting and zooming in and out. But in a print context, it's extremely important, as is so CMYK we're now supporting as well, right? Which is the way that the colors are printed, right? Like so, it's I think cyan, magenta, yellow, and it's the way that newspapers and magazines are printed, right? So we're also supporting that. I understand.
That is correct, and it's a great point that you actually bring that up because it is quite critical, right? When you actually take it to print of how those colors kind of pop. So that is correct. We are also supporting that now that print is coming out of pencil.
Excellent. So hopefully this is one for the creatives and design geeks. I know that there are many people that still get a real kick out of seeing their work in print, right? It's sort of. I know that I used to be a journalist, and I remember getting an article printed. Still felt like such a big deal, even though most of what you were doing, most of the views that you were ever getting was online. It still felt like a big thing getting it printed. So I do think this is a big one. And as I say, I think for the industry, for the advertising industry, it's for me, I don't know if you agree with this. For me, it feels like what we're really doing is like stitching together this brave new world of generative AI and the kind of like real world economy that's just always existed and just kind of been iteratively built on, over the years and decades, right? And so the print advertising world really isn't something that you would naturally associate with Gen AI, but it's just one stitch, I think, across, we talk a lot about rolling out Gen AI across organizations. We've got a webinar about it tomorrow about how you identify those use cases and how you create those stitches between the old world and the new. I mean, do you think that's a kind of fair characterization?
I think so. I mean, there is something quite magical about print still, I
Yeah.
would say. I don't know why. I still get kind of excited when I get mail. There's these kind of value packs that comes here locally where I live, and it has all these coupons to your local businesses. There's something fun about opening that. It's like a mini Christmas present that comes once a month, and I feel like you wouldn't have the same kind of experience in a digital format. So
Mm.
I do believe that people still value the print experience and that physical experience that you get from it. And where pencil slots into it, I think many people have probably mentioned this before, but we very much see pencil as a tool. And AI is kind of one aspect to it, but if you're thinking about what do you want the tool to actually do as it relates to marketing and content creation, there is very much more of a digital presence, I think, in the world today, but there is still a lot of value for print. And if you think about all the use cases and the workflow as a marketing organization and how you want to communicate with your customers, print plays a critical part in that. And I think merging the two, and again, being the tool that allows you to do everything from one platform in one place, I think it makes the workflow a lot simpler for our customers.
100%. Excellent. Okay. And so do we have any idea on how much time we're going to be saving people here? Is it a big difference in terms of the workflow that they would have been using to now? And I'm talking about exports more generally now, not specifically print. Do we have any idea on how much time and effort we're saving people?
I don't have one. I would be lying if I said I do. I do think it's a lot simpler. Like playing around with it myself, right? Getting exports out of Pencil to
Yeah.
me is much easier. I actually think the main value that we're giving users here is actually the controls. And as I mentioned, we're kind of layering on top of this in the coming months more control within the export experience. So we give you more options when it comes to the type of file type, compression rate, bit rate, frame rate, all of that that I kind of already mentioned.
Mm.
I think that is where the true value is. So I see export, the actual export experience, less about a time save and more about actually being able to have the control to get the quality content that you need out of Pencil so you can put it to work, uh, whether it's on your advertising channels, whether it's in your print material, you name it. It's all about really being able to meet our customers where they need us to be when it comes to the exports.
Excellent. Okay, and so looking forward, in terms of roadmap, what have we got coming up that you are excited about? Is there anything that's on the in the kind of pipeline that you can give us any kind of teasers about today?
I can give a little bit of a teaser about something that I think I'm really excited about, and it's more of the agentic kind of workflows
Okay.
that we're looking into. So within Pencil, we're starting to build out a lot of specialized agents that are really good at the specific task. So instead of being your Swiss Army knife, it's like a very specialized tool um, that can do what we believe a better job at the very specific tasks that you're trying to accomplish. And there is, I believe, a future where you start to see the ability to kind of stitch these together into a workflow. So if you think about this from uh, your typical creative perspective of you might have an insight that you want to action on, and how do you derive that insight from potentially some form of data set of performance that you have from the past, and then you're trying to create a brief based on that. You take that brief and now you want to go in different direction of what's the concept of this brief. From the concepting phase, you lock in on one kind of direction, and now you want to go and create all the material that goes into a marketing campaign for that, whether it be copy that you write, email, you might have a landing page, you have all the digital, you might have print, right? So you kind of bring all of this together. Um, the really exciting part where I see that we're moving towards is you'll be able to kind of use these agents in a workflow where you can kind of set them off and let them go and execute on the tasks to then be very much in the loop of what's going on, but quickly get from insight to some form of concept and then go and iterate from there to build out the campaign that you need, and giving each individual user within that workflow for your organization the ability to kind of have Pencil as a tool to go and quickly execute against your task and focus on more strategic direction rather than the time consuming areas of that creative development that sometimes isn't that much fun.
Yeah, I guess that's the name of the game, right? It's like finding all those areas that are boring or time consuming and automating them, and then just having, I guess, the humans be the kind of creative decision maker, right? Like that's kind of the end goal, I suppose. It's like just having each human be like the CEO of their own little company and just making the calls on everything while the agents are kind of doing everything for them.
Right. I believe it's a lot more fun to do more of the strategic thinking of how to get it together. But obviously, there's so much value in actually being able to get something out there, even just to react to. I think that's why there's so much excitement of just looking at a mood board where you're trying to just figure out what direction just visually are we going for. You're not really putting together these pixel perfect creatives. It's more about something to react to, and being able to go from a very early inside into that mood board phase to a creative direction and then execution, I think is something that there's a lot of value in, and just having that creative tool or partner that can help you get there much quicker will allow you to give you an edge in this very fast-paced environment that we're in right now, where content kind of cycles through very quickly and
Yeah.
can very quickly become stale.
Yeah.
The ability to actually operate very at a fast pace, derive insights and action those insights to kind of keep up with the pace of the market, I think is very important. And that is something that we're keeping in mind as we're trying to develop product to meet the needs of kind of the current market environment and where we believe we're moving.
Yeah, I mean, well, look, we certainly see it marketing pencil, how fast the market's moving, how you have to be able to react to, like a new model being launched. It's like the whole organization has to be mobilized to kind of, get it integrated in the platform. We were super pleased with how quickly we were able to integrate GPT-5, for example, and Nano Banana. But from a marketing standpoint, you have to be ready to go really quickly as well. I mean, we use it to do all of the above. Get your ducks in a row, get your kind of your insight and your research together, your kind of creative ideation, and then just execution, getting stuff out there quickly. I almost think that we're going to get to a stage, and maybe we're even at that stage now, where really the only bottleneck is humans finding the time to review stuff, right? Like the more kind of like human sign-offs you need, that really becomes the only thing that slows anything down, right? Because you've got agents that can pretty much do everything else for you. So if you've got one kind of decision maker only signing off on stuff, you can move extremely quickly now, in a way that just was not possible when I first got into this industry. Like, so much more stuff had to be done manually. There was just so many more meetings and so many more different people that you had to bring in and do all sorts of different processes in a much more manual fashion. Whereas now, one very motivated individual can get so much done, with the help of AI, with platforms like ours, I think.
Right. That is so true. And you also have a layer there of there's kind of where you focus your time in this world where the creative process might be a lot quicker due to
Mm.
these tools and the models coming out, where you one thing that we're looking at too is the ability to have scoring within your creative and very much tailor that to your own brand. So you can kind of see that as for some of these more rapidly developing content, whether it's ads or social output that you need at a much higher pace. You might not want to have the the people that you want to think about the big bold brand campaigns that needs a lot of thought and a lot of revision,
Mm.
in order to get it really nailed down with the positioning and messaging of the campaign that you're actually putting out, to where you can have these scoring systems now within Pencil where you can actually have it graded. So instead of having to look at every single creative coming out of Pencil at detail, we kind of can alleviate some of that as well, right? Where you very quickly can identify, okay, these are the higher scoring creatives that are coming out, that are on brand, the messaging is correct. And obviously you still want to be in the loop so you can review it, but it can save you a lot of time by quickly identify what content here is very on brand that we probably should go with versus something that might be too edgy, which sometimes is really good, right? You might want to explore something new, but it will give you very clear, quick indication of where some type of content might fall on that
Yeah.
spectrum.
Excellent. Okay. Well, look, is there anything else that we haven't covered either on exports, print, or anything else that you've got kind of coming up that you're excited about that you think it's worth covering off today?
Yeah, I have one more.
Yeah.
I'll throw
Great.
one
Go ahead.
more just very quickly because
Yeah. Yeah.
this one I think is really exciting for everyone that is using Pencil. We have something called views coming, and if you use results or insights, you might already be familiar with this, but views on the work page will allow you to create these filter down views. And you can think about them as folders. So within Pencil, you have a big almost database of all the work that you created, and you have the ability to assign labels and custom properties and all this good stuff to essentially very quickly be able to identify them. Now with views, you will actually be able to create a specialized view for those labels. So you very quickly can identify the type of work that you're looking for. So we're kind of removing this um, continuous scroll of finding work, or the manual effort of constantly having to apply the same labels over and over. So now it's very easy to group all of the creative that you're putting together for a campaign, for example, label that the same, and then save that view so you very easily and quickly can find the work that you're looking for one specific project or campaign. So that is something that is coming to Pencil, and I think it's going live today actually. So if you're on Pencil, you should actually go and try it. I think it's gonna save a lot of time when it comes to finding the work that you're looking for.
Okay, amazing. Well, look, there's more. We've got more going live than we can even find time to cover properly. So there's more updates going live in Pencil than ever before, I think, and it's very exciting. So yeah, look, everybody, I think we can probably wrap it up there. There's a lot going on, as you've heard. So get into the platform, start testing views, start testing advanced exports, and let us know what you think. I think we're always open to feedback from the community. So, please do hop in, let us know what you think. And then as a reminder, we have a webinar going live tomorrow with myself, Tim, and Matt. So Tim is from the training team and Matt is from customer success. And we're going to be talking all about scaling Gen AI within your enterprise organization. Should be an interesting one, going through all about identifying use cases and just pushing enablement across various different teams and how you can actually make that happen so that you can go from pilot to full deployment and start really harvesting that ROI in your business. So look, Doug, unless there's anything else from you, I think we've had loads of great product updates. Anything else that you want to share before we hop?
No, I think it's all good from my end. I'll just double down on your point of feedback. We read everything, so please try it out. Let us know what you think. Really exciting for everyone to try it out.
Excellent. All right. Well, look, on that note, everybody, thanks for joining us. We will see you here again tomorrow and then again next Tuesday and every other Tuesday after that, because we're here talking creative, products, and anything to do with the AI industry. So yeah, we'll see you here tomorrow or next Tuesday.